What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Dewan. So I've been talking about Microsoft OneNote 2016 for a while now. I decided to go ahead and create a video that's going to truly help you if you're working on certifications. Now I'm going to do one to help you with your everyday life also, but right now in this video we're going to focus on using Microsoft OneNote for certification success. I do have to mention this. If you have Windows 10, Microsoft OneNote cloud version comes by default, but I have a video here where you can get Microsoft OneNote 2016 Professional for $10. All you have to do is enter your employer's email address, and if your employer is a Microsoft partner, you'll get an email with the code to be able to download the Microsoft Office 2016 Professional for $10. You can also get Microsoft Visio and Microsoft Project. So if you use Visio for your network diagrams, or if you haven't used it, take advantage of getting it for $10 because it's a dope program. If you can master it, it will definitely help you in your network engineering career. Now, let's talk about Microsoft OneNote. Okay, if you've been rocking with me for a while, you know how I break down certification books. Let me see if I have one right here. So I have a video on how I actually do this, but basically, I tab up. Make sure I tab up my books. I highlight every chapter and follow along like that through my books. I'll have a link up here on how I actually do this. It's very helpful when you're studying certification books. But I do my best to be as efficient and as organized as possible when I'm studying for my certifications. When you look at my Microsoft OneNote, now I do have the professional version, so it looks a little different, but it is so powerful. For one, you have what you call over here notebooks. These are all notebooks. Inside the notebooks, you have what you call sections. So let's say right now I'm working on my CCNA security. What I have done is went to the Cisco Learning Network's website and I downloaded the exam topics. Now over here on my pages, I created a page for each one of the exam topics. Now we're going to dive into this shortly, but as you can see, there's 7 topics broken down in the exam topics. The first page is basically talking about the exam. So I can go in here to my CCNA security, and now let's go to section 1, which is security concepts. This is so dope. Basically, OneNote, you can write anywhere on here. So if I was to draw, I could draw like a notebook. I could turn this into a presentation to present it. I don't want to do that. So I can undo, I can do math, I can do equations, and I'll show you some math before we even dive into that. So 4 plus 4, put the equal sign, 8, etc., etc. I can do complex equation, I can do division, I can do calculus, whatever I want to do. We're going to dive so much into this, but that's just the brief. Now, let's get back to this exam topics. I just wanted to show you that you can write pretty much anywhere on the page, anywhere. You can copy, paste, whatever. So in section 1, right, here are the rest of the exam topics for the CCNA security section 1. Now it's broken down and I highlight as I go. You see this plus sign here? I can expand it. And now that's everything in that section. Plus sign here, I can expand that. That's everything in that section with the subsections underneath that. And actually, these may not be subsections, so they shouldn't even be under here. They should be out one, but I'll fix that later. And I can keep expanding it. And so now I can see everything that I have in this page, but I have to scroll. It gets a little confusing. So all I have to do is come here, bring these back in. And so now I can go through my exam topics and say, okay, common security practices, describe confidentiality, integrity, availability. What do I know about this? Okay, confidentiality means that no one can read the information. Integrity means it has not been modified, and availability means it's available for you to access. So that's everything there, but if I don't know the answer, if I need to dive deeper, I can go in here. And you can do that for each section, and it keeps it extremely organized. We're going to dive so much deeper, but along with that, So if I need to search, let's go here. Let me show you. So once you start to organize, everything looks good. But the more sections you create, the more notebooks you create, the more redundant information you'll have in OneNote. So let me show you something here. So in my routing in section was 4.0, I have 4.4 common layer 2 attacks. Now, a lot of that information that's in this section is from the CCNP. So I have my CCNP switch section. When I expand this here, it brings up this. Now, what you can do in OneNote, so you don't have redundant information, you can link. So, okay, so if we're talking about STP spoofing, what I can do is, okay, we're talking about BPDU guard and root guard, but I have this somewhere else in my notes, but I don't want to put it in here again to have redundant information. So I can click this link and it'll take me to the section where I have root guard and BPDU guard. You see, now we were in the CCNP security section right here. And then once I click this, it took us down to the switch section of my protect and spanning tree protocol stability section, where I have all my notes on BPDU guard, on root guard, loop guard, and everything here, BPDU filter in my OneNote. So it makes your note taking organization structure so simply organized. And to combine, once you start really taking notes and diving in, when you create something like this, basically all you're doing is tabbing. You're creating an outline. It's just an outline. And as you outline, it creates these little arrows where you can just collapse the section or expand the section that you want to be in. Makes it extremely organized. I do this at work for trouble tickets, everything. But for certifications, it's amazing. So let's take it a step further beyond that. So let's say I want to copy here, this link here. So if I want to copy link to this paragraph, copy the link to this paragraph, go back to CCNA security, and then if we have this OSPF here, if I want to link, I just click link. And so now when I paste the address from where I just copied it from, click copy. Now I have a hyperlink, and when I click it, it'll take me to the CCNP route section. So now it's linked. I don't have to put redundant information. So it says implementing update authentication on OSPF. And it takes me right to the section where it talks about OSPF in my CCNP route section. Now, you can simplify this so much. Organize your notes, structure your notes is dope. I mean, we're about to dive even deeper. So before I go into some more, let's talk about something else it does. Let's say you're watching, let me see if I can find one. All right, let's say you're watching a CBT Nuggets video, an INE video, or a Chris Bryant video, something along that nature. And you see some notes, and like, I write down notes. What you can actually do, and even if you don't like Safari books, if you see something, you can do screen captures. Let's say I have these screenshots here, and I don't feel like copying all these commands and stuff again. Since this is an image, I can right click this image and I can do alt text. And what this alternative text is, it copies everything in there. See, as you can see, access list 103, it reads images. Like, it literally reads images. This alt text, it reads images. And so to take it even deeper than that, if you're taking notes and you do screen captures, or you snip these outlines or notes rather than typing them, and you copy them directly into OneNote, right? So now what you can actually do, if you're looking for something, so I'll do a Control F. Control F will search inside the page that I'm on. So now let's say I want to do router A. I'm going to show you something. So I have 3 matches. Do you see that highlighted right there? It searches inside of images. So you don't really have to copy notes anymore as far as writing them down, because OneNote will search for language inside of images. Like, it reads words inside of images. That is so dope. Shout out to Microsoft for man, the power of OneNote you can do with your notes is just amazing. I'm giving you just like a really, I would say, rough draft of what you can do. But these are pretty much my notes so far for my CCNA security. I'm covering everything. I'm making sure that I dive in and I don't miss everything. And this is how I'm structuring to say, okay, what haven't I covered? Every section I go through, all right, collapse, all right, what haven't I covered? So now I can look directly at this to know what I covered and what I haven't covered. And when I start my review, it will all begin to make sense. Now, let me show you a couple more things before we keep going. All right, I talked about it during reading, writing, and arithmetic. So it reads from pictures, you write. So if you draw on the screen, it will read what you draw. All right, so if you have something like a Wacom, and let's put this on presentation view. And so let's say you have a Visio diagram, and actually we can do that. We can pull up this, and I can put. Let's do this. So if I come here and we come down to this diagram and I pull up a whiteboard, right? Let me see. And I'm on this whiteboard and I'm drawing. So now if I come here and I type CISCO, right? And let's say I want you to be able to read that. I right click, ink the text, CISCO. So when you're writing on your whiteboards, you can translate it. So you don't have to sit there and type everything. You can basically just use, like if you have one of those Wacom pens or something, and write right there on your whiteboard. So if you're doing like a Skype meeting or something with some other network engineers, you pull up OneNote, you got your whiteboard up, and you guys can just work and collaborate right there. OneNote is powerful. All right. So we got that. We talked about that. And like I said, I'm going to do another video for those of you that want to use it just for your everyday life. But this is for all my people that are getting certified. Now, if you also, when I talk about the tab videos on my books, on how I break down certification books and how I prepare for certification exams, another thing I talk about is note cards. Now, I showed you how to create your outlines, collapse and expand your outlines. Let me show you another thing. So we're in here, right? And I got these study questions. These are from my CCNA security book. And I could read them from the book, but right here, I put them in my OneNote, and since you can sync this with your mobile device, so you can have everything in your OneNote synced with your mobile device, so you can study on the go. That's a major plus. So now I have these note card questions that I would normally create on a 3x5. Well, in OneNote, what I can actually do right now is this. I have these questions. How many questions are these? 10 questions. They're in OneNote. All right. So how would I study these? It says, which of the following is not a business driver for a BYOD solution? I can think. I don't know the answer. Let's see. All right. Is it A? Is it B? Is it C? Is it D? I could guess. Let's say it's B. All right. Expand this. Voila. The answer is B. And so with the same concept of creating your exam topics as an outline and putting all your notes that you're studying for each topic, you can create your own note card study questions in here. And so all you do is create the question, enter the question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then A, B, C, D in the outline format. And now you have note cards, and then you can kind of go through the process of seeing if you know the answer or not, expanding until you get the answer until you know all the questions. And you can just do this for every chapter. You can go down as far as you want, however you want it. You can change the font, you can adjust it. And like I said, you can sync it with your mobile device. So now you have your study questions on your mobile device, on your tablet, on your computer, wherever you want to be, on the go. The possibilities of OneNote are pretty much endless. I want to show you one more thing. I showed you so much, but even when you're in here and you're creating your exam topics over here, you can create your notebooks here. You can even create groups over here to where you can group, like, let's say, like down here, I have a section called certification. So you can create all your certifications down here in what you call a section group. You can really organize it. You can do your work questions, however you want to do it. You can pretty much do it all here in OneNote. But the last thing I wanted to talk about is, you know how you go through a lab, and I don't know about you, if you have 2 monitors, cool, but if you don't have 2 monitors, one of the things that you can do is this. Okay, so let's say you have a checklist that you have to go to if you're configuring a device. And this could be at work, this could be in the lab, wherever. You have a checklist, and you know how normally you got to adjust your screen, pull up Secure CRT. Let's pull up Secure CRT real quick. Or pull up Packet Tracer, whatever you may pull up. And you're trying to have OneNote up, or whatever you have up, your documentation to study your notes. What you can do in OneNote is you can do what you call view and dot view. And so now you can have your checklist over here. You can adjust the font however you want, and you can follow your checklist. You can even put, hold up, let's go through here real quick and make this even cooler, because it's not cool enough. We need to make it even cooler and easier for you to follow along. You can put these checklist boxes, these to-do tabs, all up and down here. And I'll just insert them. And so after each one, all you have to do is check it off to say if you did it or not. And I wonder if I highlight these all, if they'll put a to-do tag. Boom. Look at that. Did you see that? Just highlight them all and then enter the to-do tag. That's dope. So now I'll go back to view, and then I'll go to dot view. And now when I go through my checklist, let's say you're in Secure CRT. I got Secure CRT pulled up, and I need to configure my device. Now, if you're on the job, if you're doing the lab, if you have your OneNote open in dot view, you can have both of them open at the same time. And so now, if I want to change the host name, config T, host name, and we can change the host name to R1. Boom. We need to do a no IP domain lookup. Oops. Yeah, now you need to make sure you click back over to the right device, but no IP domain lookup. Boom. And now if we need to enable a password, etc., etc., and then we just go through our checklist, and then we can verify and have everything right there. Like, it makes everything for you to follow along a lot easier. So that way, if you have, let's say, tasks that you have to do at work, you create you a task list in OneNote, boom, 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 and you will be a lot more efficient just by doing something like this, even in your lab at home. Now you can minimize it and send it away, so that way you can get everything in the memory for your exam. But at the same time, some of the tasks are complex, and when you first learn it, it helps to have something like this right there. So dot view is what this is called. And once again, you open up OneNote, go over to view. Come on, OneNote. All right. You go over to view, and then it's called, you can either do a new dock window, or you can just do dock to desktop, and it'll dock it right to the side, and it'll always be on top. So that's pretty dope. Yeah, that's pretty much everything in OneNote that I wanted to cover. I wanted to talk about the outline format, how to use it for your certifications. Let's see, the alt to text, meaning to copy the text from a screenshot that you may have. collapsing using the outline structure of OneNote, searching in OneNote, the math in OneNote, reading text in OneNote. There's so many things that we talked about in here. If you all have questions, hit me up in the comment section below. If you're in the Lab Everyday group, I'm going to do another more detailed on how you can use it with your everyday life. But I figured I'd just make this video here. So for those of you that are interested in using it for your certifications, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, comment, share it out. If you found this helpful, share it out. I appreciate that. And I thank you all for your support. Catch you on the next one. Peace.